What's up, everybody? Good morning. I think I'm here by myself today. Savannah is traveling to CrossFit Riverside for their 15th anniversary with Greg. The tsunami of rain, I guess, didn't hit in the way that they thought it would. So he's taking the morning off and headed there. You guys are stuck with me. I'm finally here. Odd. And Savannah's not. Sorry. Cool new profile picture, though. What's up, everybody? Frank, how you doing? Doing all right, bud? Matt Schindeldecker, good morning. Good morning, dude. Dude, I still need to chat with you. I'm sorry. Been super busy and I definitely want to have some conversations, but time just keeps on moving away. Sunday Rambler. The economy turning to the pooper. AI is stealing jobs, especially white collar jobs, which are mostly CrossFit members. That's a bold statement. You think AI is stealing jobs already? I think like anytime there's new technology, there's going to be a shift in the job market. I don't know. We'll see. Bruce, what's up, dude? Can't believe you're blue. Good morning. Good morning, Melanie. Good morning, Sean. Good morning. Standing room only, 30 million high intensity athletes. Oh, man. Yeah, I always. Oh, odd. Nice. Biggest letdown of the day, but I'm here for you. Thank you, I guess. Thank you. Okay. Dick Butter. Dick Butter. Where have you been? I felt like you haven't been around, like you've left us or something. That's fucked up, dude. But I'm glad you're here today. What's up? Dan, good morning, son. Somebody already mentioned something in the comments that I thought about bringing up. Oh yeah, it was Dick Butter. Dick Butter, hey guys, how many cringy text message exchange defending CrossFit have you had today? Oh man, it's funny. It's funny because I actually I put that in the notes for this morning. And I wasn't sure. We were going back and forth if I was going to do the show, like if Sevan was going to be here. Caleb still might show up. I'm wondering now, maybe it's because I didn't text him. Idiot. Anyhow, I put together some notes for you guys. So we had some sort of topics to discuss here. And the text messages from CrossFit on the like exchange back and forth, which was obviously just a made up Photoshop, was quite funny. Christopher, what is the next behind the scenes going to be released? Thinking about when is the next behind the scenes going to be released. And I do believe today. I think we're going to release episode 11 today. I think episode 3 will be coming out for free today. Yeah, I'll double check on that. But that was the last time we had discussed. So that should be happening today. So you should have something for this weekend. Jake Chapman, Souza, do you have any tats? I do not. 0. Not that I'm against them, but for me, I never was really into it. I always thought like I was super critical of anything I would draw, and I would like draw something as like to get an idea of what I'd want, and then I would like leave it for 2 days, and I'd come back and I'd be like, damn, that looks like shit. And I just kept doing that all the time, and I eventually realized that if I did that and put it on my body permanently, I would just be super critical of what was on there, and I would hate it eventually. So no tattoos. Okay, 3 is up. Yeah, there you go. 3 is up for free, and 11 will be coming soon. There we go. Yeah, 3 is up. Watch it before you went live. Okay, cool. All right, so we're going to first off, thank you to Paper Street Coffee, CA Peptides, and BIRTHFIT. We can't express enough how awesome you guys are and keeping the lights on here at the Sevan Podcast. So go check out their websites if you guys haven't. I know most of you guys have, but if you haven't already, go do it again. If you go to BIRTHFIT, take the console. It's really good. I don't have any kids, but that's what I've been told. So you tag buildings, just not yourself. Absolutely. That shit's super temporary. You could do something and like leave and come back the next day to see it, and it's already gone. Absolutely. Temporary. All things in life are temporary. I guess even your tattoos to a certain degree. Okay, I want to start off with this. Quote. Oh fuck, maybe not. Yes. No. Maybe. And they kind of shortened it on the graphic, but somebody in the comments put the whole entire Marcus Aurelius quote up. You must now, at last, perceive of what universe you are a part of, and what administrator of the universe your existence flows, and that limit of time is fixed for you, which, if you do not use for clearing away the clouds of your mind, it will go, and you will go, and it will never return. Don't waste your shit. Don't don't waste the limited time that you have here on Earth. Because, like we just said before, it's all temporary. And so, if you're fixated on stupid little trivial things and not focused on the big picture, it'll all pass you by so very quickly. Um, Daniel Garrity, after yesterday's podcast, I ran into Hunter, who was running on the side of the road near my cabin. Couldn't have missed the trend. I can't believe you didn't say something or just tried to like creepily like take a picture of him and post it on like the Sevanistas Instagram. I feel like that would have been pretty funny. Just you driving by, snapping a photo of him running after you just saw him on the podcast when he said he was going to go running. What are the odds of that? What are the odds of that? Ninjas, gonna be the first time not doing the open in 8 years, and it feels great. Why aren't you doing the open? I wonder why. Are all you guys doing the open? You should be. I haven't signed up yet personally, but I probably will. Don't waste your shit on people's shit. Nothing matters. Yeah. Well, okay. Fair enough. Fair enough. Daniel Garrity. Hunter had huge headphones on. That's pretty funny. Okay, 30 million CrossFitters. Do you guys remember? I think last year that was what Don was talking about in terms of his goal for the company, although it was super vague because it just, I mean, anybody could say that, hey, what do you want to do? I want to make $1 million. Okay. So it's like, why? How? Why'd you choose that number? Like, there's so many unanswered questions, but it sounds really great, right? Like 30 million new CrossFitters. But like, how does that break down? How would that even work in the affiliates? How many new affiliates would need to spawn to support that many CrossFitters? What would that look like? Like, there's just so many unanswered questions when it comes to that. But let's go ahead and take a look at the CrossFit ad that was recently put out. I guess you could call it an ad. It's really just an Instagram post that maybe wasn't thought through all the way. And it's this one. You guys know it. I'm not even gonna skip through all these because they ended up putting like what 10 slides. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Did you guys read? Did you guys actually go through and read all of those 10 slides? Oh my goodness. And the funny part about it is like the conversation about the injury rates. But if you look over to the side and you go to like the caption of it, it sounded better because it says Amy West is a specialist in sports medicine, a graduate of Harvard, which is coming under some hot water for their alleged scientific misconduct, which Broken Science is all over. We'll go venture over there and check that out in just a minute. But Amy West, a specialist in sports medicine, a graduate of Harvard in a team physician for the some fucking acronym athletic department, conducted a literature review on injury rates for various exercise methods. Okay, so why don't you just show us the study? Like, why don't what like or why don't you have her talk about it? Or why don't we dive into it, right? But like you just put up a bunch of fake text messages going back and forth, which by the way, that's already not good for the look. Like if you want to have like some sort of authenticity, like make the content like authentic, like have Amy talk about it, go to a CrossFit gym, interview some other people, show the study that she did, link us to the studies that she's doing so we could read them for ourselves. Instead, it's kind of this really awkward back and forth fake conversation between, you know, some unknown person and some unknown CrossFit hater. Now, I get the sentiment. I get the spirit of it, right? Because hey, have you guys have CrossFitters, you guys have run into this before. You go and you meet somebody who's like either a PT or they're a chiropractor, and then they say, "Oh, I love you CrossFitters because You keep me in business. What the fuck? It doesn't even I hate when people say that because it doesn't even really make sense. The other thing is that if you do suffer quote unquote injuries, 9 times out of 10, they're just musculature problems that could be fixed with a little stretching, a proper prehab, a rehab exercise, and a little foam rolling for the most part. And they claim it to be injury. And then you already know the path that that's going to take. You're going to go see your doctor, and your doctor's going to say, don't move it at all. Sit on the couch, take these pills, go see the PT. It's just, it's a waste of your time. It's a waste of the doctor's time. It's crazy. It's crazy. But anyhow, I just thought that this was like comical. I just had to like laugh. 'Cause the other thing too is like how many people did it take to come up with this? Like how many like people of approval was like, yeah, that's a great idea. Yeah, this is gonna be a hitter. Let's go ahead and just make up a conversation back and forth with each other. And we're gonna check out in a moment here the their CrossFit Instagram at large and just kind of like scroll it, just troll their gram. But what do you guys think about that 30 million? How close do you think they'll ever talk about that again? Or if they do you think that they'll like change it and say like, "Oh, we like to put the goalpost really far out there. We knew this is a multi-year type thing. We weren't expecting to get 30 million in a year," which I get that. But it's just interesting that you would say a big claim like that, but I doubt we'll ever have any follow-up, and I don't think that there'll ever be any, like, tactile, like, milestones of, like, "Hey, we made 5 million. Hey, we made 10. This is what we did. This is how we're gonna get there." Uh, what is this? Oh. Bruce Wayne to send Bruce Wayne to send me a thumbnail. It's always funny seeing my face cut out on something. Absolutely terrifying to see that. Stephen Flores, what's worse, having diabetes and other comorbidities or orthopedic injury? Yeah. One is a moment of time and an inconvenience, and the other one is a death sentence. I mean, it's no fucking, you know what I mean? It's not even a comparison. Aaron Frazier, related to Matt Frazier, Matt Frazier's long lost brother. Souza, do you think PTs are a waste of time? No, not at all. I think it depends on the PT. It's the same thing in the medical industry all the time, right? It depends on the doctor. It depends on the dietitian. It depends on the physical therapist. I think, unfortunately, by and large, um, you know, they're maybe not as effective as they could be. And I also know that a lot of the situation when it comes to the medical community, their hands are tied by the insurance companies. So like they might be able to do a certain amount of procedure or something like that, but at the end of the day, they don't have a gym inside their physical therapy facility. How are they going to get you back to exercise? And that's part of the problem. It's like working with the firefighters, some of these guys get injured on the job, like no shit, like a piece of roof falls on their head, or one guy was like, "Oh, my back has problems," and I'm like, "Wow, what happened with your back?" And he's like, "I fell out of a helicopter," and I'm like, "The fuck?" Like, maybe lead with that. So yeah, so there's certain times where obviously those PTs to get them back to normal functioning movement is important, but then what happens from where the PT leaves them to get them back to exercising? And that's a pretty big gap that's missed, especially in that first responder community. And so if you are a PT and you don't have a some sort of gym like a squat rack or a pull-up bar or something that could get somebody back to normal functioning exercise, then you're kind of missing half of the work that needs to be done. So I don't even think that answered your question, but that's cool. Oh, barbell spin, fantastic. Now we have somebody with some actual facts here. Don already admitted 30 million is a lofty goal. So he set the goal and then immediately backpedaled. We're going 30 million. It was a bit aggressive back there, guys. I was a bit aggressive. We're going to go for 1 million. Don already admitted 30 million is a lofty goal. Plus, he never really defined how they will count 30 million. So the question that I have, hold on, Sevan's calling me right now. Hey. The call forwarding's on. Oh, awesome. Okay, you're live right now. Thank you for doing that. I'll turn this Bluetooth on right now. Okay, thank you. Bye. Okay, we have the call line. Amazing. Did he text me that? Oh yeah, he did. Thank you. Thank you, Sevan, for Sending me off the lifeline here. Hold on, guys. Let me get it set. Well, you're used to this because it's a Roadcaster's phone. Whoa, why did I feel like the light really washed my face out right there? We could turn it down and talk about some doc stuff. Ay, I am a mess. Okay, the phone is now connected and the call line is up. Okay, so if you guys want to call in on this, like, yeah, do it. Let's have some conversations. Plus he never okay, back to the barbell spin question. Don already admitted 30 million is a lofty goal. Plus, he never really defined how they will count 30 million. So then what was the point of that statement? That's what I want to ask. Like, how did there was some point there was like a conversation around that, and he was like, I'm gonna present this. And the issue that I have is like if you're gonna present that and you're gonna show it, like, are we gonna back it up or are we just gassing the room up? Just gassing it up. Kenneth, Aston Dave's week review. That's the only way to get some kind of answer to tough questions. Yep. Yep. It. Yep. We'll just leave it at that. I love Dave. Susie Tell, my PT is a CrossFitter, skier, mountain biker, and I'm blessed. Yes, that is somebody who you want to find. Somebody who works out avidly, who does new sports, who's super active and understands your needs. If you go to your doctor or your PT or something and they're overweight and they don't really exercise at all, like, fuck, get out of there, because how are they even going to understand your needs and what you need to like get back to? Somebody could play it safe and call the first make the first call and just test the line. You don't actually have to call out with a question. Stephen, falling out of a helicopter is bad for your health. Definitely. Definitely. I will have my L1 and I'll finish PT school next year. Yes, we need more people like you, Stephen Flores, that understand it from like a really higher level. And you're going to better serve your clients who aren't CrossFitters too. If you're able to get people back to truly functional exercise and movement, and not just like little things with the band until the person decides that going to the class is like done. Yo, you need a list, call line, Caleb, etc. My 2 cents, you are 100% right. I kind of have a list, but yeah. Let me get down to the bottom of these comments. Okay, we don't have choices here. My doctor, Sabier and Kelly, we don't have choices here. My sports doctor is overweight, so I don't take half of his advice. Yeah, fuck, that's a hard thing. If you go into your doctor's office and you could tell that they're not already active and stuff like that. I always go back and forth. I have a question for you guys. What do you think about coaches that are great coaches, great communicators, but aren't maybe can't necessarily do some of the higher skill stuff like muscle ups and handstand walks and stuff like that? Do you think that they should still be teaching those movements, or for some reason do you think that they should not? I am curious as to how you guys feel about that, and then I will give my opinion afterwards. I wanted to show you guys this cool little graph. I'm a pretty big nerd when it comes to some sort of data or graph that also moves. That's like animated, so you can see how it's changed over the time. I don't know why I love that. Tony Martin, let's see what he says. I followed Mark Riptoad's shoulder rehab and never told my PT. I blew through PT and got released. Fair enough. Emily Rolf's husband, Jonathan Ortega. Emily Rolf's husband can't do it, but he can coach it and teach it to you. So Jonathan's in favor of that. Okay, cool. My 2 cents. I don't think you should look like my photo and be teaching. Why not though? Why not? What if they've already lost like 100 pounds and they're still continuing on that journey and they love to coach? Should you not take advice from them and coach from them if they could coach? I don't know. Name one coach from elite sport who is top tier sport as their player. Jake Chapman. Great point. I mean, you see, like for us, like American football, like if you watch, I said American football because I know Jake's not. I know he's a UKer. When you see the coaches of those teams, half of them, you're like, there's no way that dude could even run the length of the football field. But they're great coaches. That's not their job to run the length of the football field. Their job is to make sure that the team does it really efficiently. So I agree with that. Here we go. Somebody with a different point of view. Brandon Gomez definitely should. I had a coach that was in her late 50s and could give their best cues. Oh, they should coach. I wanted to find somebody who disagreed with that point. um, let's see a couple of you guys here. Oh, Barbell Spin with another awesome comment. Do you want Frazier to be your coach? I don't know. If you watched some of Hiller's videos, I would say no. You're gonna show up to the dungeon, show up to get fit, leave with a mental problem. Just kidding, guys. Just kidding. It's a joke. Bunch of CrossFit coaches are still doing CrossFit. Pep wasn't top tier. Laugh out loud spin. Yeah, I think the number one most important thing for you to possess as a coach is your ability to communicate. And we focus a ton on all like the tactile stuff, like and how to see and correct movement. Obviously, that's super important. But if you don't understand like how to communicate to each individual person and the nuance as you are like roaming the floor and how I need to treat this person and how they respond to certain cues versus this person and how they respond to certain cues, um, if you don't have that down, it doesn't matter how good you're seeing and correcting movement and all the anatomy stuff and the best cues you could give. If you're not able to communicate them and change from nuance to person as you do it, then it doesn't matter how great of a coach you are. And so I always talk about like communication books as being part of the repertoire as what you need for coaching, or just like listening to a audible book on communication or a podcast or something like that, because most people don't work on their communication in that regard. They don't study it. They don't learn how to become better at it. And I think that if you do, not only will it make you better at everything else you do in life, but especially if you're a coach, I mean, your whole entire job is to transmit a message. Your whole entire job is to communicate something that's going to change the way somebody moves to make them more efficient and better. And if you're not working on the piece of like that transmission and how you're doing it and how you're bettering yourself at it, then all the L1s, the L2s, the L3s, like none of that shit will matter if you don't have great communication. And on top of that, if you want to level yourself up in that gym, maybe become like the full-time coach or eventually become an owner of the gym, then fuck, your communication is going to have to you're going to have to get really good at two things: communicating and letting shit just roll off your back. And so I go back to the quote that I shared with you guys earlier, which is like, don't waste your time on the dumb shit, because there's a certain time limit that is assigned to us all. And if you just spend your time spinning your wheels in the mud, and getting caught up in all this, bullshit that doesn't matter in the day to day, then, yeah, you're just completely wasting your time. But as an affiliate owner, you're going to be responsible not only to communicate and transmit the message of your vision and how you want your gym to be ran to your coaches, but then you're going to also have to do that to your members. And you're going to have to be really good at dealing with conflict and like crucial conversations that come up, because as affiliate owners, as coaches, like our job is directly working with people. Like you think it's teaching them CrossFit, and it is, but also it's not, because you're dealing with personalities, you're dealing with their psychology, like how are their mood coming in here today. And if you guys know that I've been coaching for a long time, like you become half a therapist, which is kind of funny because that's what I did a little bit when I bartended as well. But I'm glad to be on the other side of that and giving the quote unquote therapy while they're doing something to better their lives, rather than the quote unquote therapy while you're just serving them alcohol, because that's not going to end well. Sunday Rambler, Souza, what's your favorite communication book? I started reading about the love language. Love languages are great. My personal favorite is called Thanks for the Feedback. As far as a communication book, let's bring that up here for you guys. Thanks for the feedback. It takes a little bit. We're like 24 minutes in, maybe about 14 minutes ago, 10 minutes ago, you get more comfortable talking to you guys. It's talking to you guys, but it's also just talking to me on a screen. And like there's no, like when I stop talking, if you're like wait for a response, you just get the radio silence. So it takes a little bit to settle into the format. Okay, so here's the book I'll share with you guys. Thanks for the feedback. The science and art of receiving feedback well, but also like giving feedback in this book. So this will be its weight in gold for you guys as coaches and as affiliate owners. Like, listen to this, read this book, And if you actually like truly like take it in and listen to it with the intent of changing then the way that you communicate, I promise your relationships and everything else will get better all around you. No question about that. No question about that. And you got to hit this button so we can see all our beautiful sponsors back there. Is the phone not working, or are you guys just fucking like, fuck this, I'm not calling in? I'm not calling in. Oh, perfect. Okay, I just got sent something. We're gonna add that to the notes in just a minute here. Let's go through a couple more questions. Standing room only. Susie, you mentioned you give your new coaches a book that's yeah, I do. It's actually let's see what it's here. Oh, bingo. All right, I do have them right here. Okay. Yes. So this is a coach's handbook, and I make, even if you've been coaching, like if you show up to my gym and you're like, I've been coaching for whatever, 3 years. I'm like, fucking great. You're still going to go through this portion of it because I'm not going to assume anything, and we're going to make sure we're on the same page. We'll go through that in a minute. Here we go. Hold on 1 second, caller. 1 second. Okay, caller, are you there?
Yo,
Hi.
Souza,
Hey. Yes, I got you.
Just testing the line for you guys.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Yep.
Hey,
No
hey,
worries.
one question. Have you ever are you a coach? Do you coach CrossFit?
No.
Do you
Yeah, I do.
Do you go to CrossFit gym?
Yeah.
What's the culture like at your gym if you could sum it up in one word?
In one word.
One word, putting you on the spot.
Honestly, probably fantastic.
That's awesome. That's a great word to describe it. All right, thank you for calling and testing the line. I won't put you on the spot with any more questions.
All right.
Thank you, man. All right, you too. Bye. Okay, so we know it works, assholes. You could call in. But yeah, so anyhow, this is the coach's handbook. It's got a lot of like our element stuff in it. There's like the logistics checklist, the timing of the classes, like this whole portion is like how we want them to conduct themselves. This is kind of like the flow chart. So as they come in, they know exactly like where they are in their journey. And so do I, or any other coach that is taking them through the intern process. So like you could open it up and you could see where they are, what they've done, what we still need them to do. I do have small little tests at the end of it that they're basically just to see like how well you could, field questions and stuff like that. So we do a whiteboard competency test where we'll put up 2 or 3 workouts onto a whiteboard, and then we'll have the coach who's going to be on the floor, like give us back the workouts, and then we fill them questions and kind of like raise their hand and be like, my arms don't work. How am I going to do the snatch legless rope climb workout? And they have to kind of like go through that, and we see what it looks like as they process different questions that we filled at them. And then we also do a warm-up competency. So what we'll do is we'll give them one workout, we'll leave the room for a couple minutes, and we'll have them come up with like a general warm-up and then a specific warm-up. And then we like explain why they like chose what they chose and how this is going to benefit people in the workout. And then I also have this one, which this just started at the gym not that long ago. This is like the general manager one. And this has everything from like all the expectations on like, this is my personal copy, but this is all like the expectations on like what we want them to do. Yeah, and different things. And then when we go through and we just, if you set an expectation at the beginning of what you want your coaches or the manager of your gym or your front desk or whatever the case is going to be, if you set the expectations and they're clearly defined, it becomes a lot easier to reinforce your standards and your expectations, because all you have to do is recall back to where you guys started. If you don't set an expectation, you don't set a standard, you don't spend some time really focused on that and like going through it together, inevitably issues are going to come up. And when issues come up, you're going to be like, hey, we do it this way here. And then they're going to come back to you and be like, I didn't know that. How was I supposed to know that? And then you kind of get in this tit for tat thing, as opposed to when everybody's fresh at the beginning. There hasn't been any history between you guys. The new coach is all gun ho to do everything the right way and everything else. You manage expectations, set expectation right at the beginning, and it gives you kind of a foundation to always pull back to. Dana Gary, I'm just pulling these questions out of nowhere. And sorry if there's other comments down. I got stuck up here. Daniel Garrity, did you always do a good job of separating friendships in your business? Early CrossFit gyms blurred those lines frequently. I did a terrible job at that at the beginning. terrible job at that. And you got to remember too, when I first opened the gym, I was like 25, 26. So it took a lot of trial by error. I've faced all the same issues that most CrossFit gyms are going to, where you have a head coach that's doing a bunch of hours and, has different expectations of how they want you to run your gym. And you guys inevitably reach conflict and the coach says, fuck you, I'm out of here, and throws the key at you one day when you're sweeping up the ropes. That's not a specific example, or maybe it is. And they leave and they say, I'm taking 20 members with me. And they start calling all your members and they're like, hey, I'm at the new gym. You should come over here. Yeah, I've had to deal with all of that. And that's how, number one, I started to study more communication of like, okay, how could I navigate these conversations better and how could I avoid them from the get-go? And then started to come up with my own system and procedure. And both with the exception of the general manager one is a more recent one that I did, but the other coach's handbook, a lot of that stuff is from years ago when I first like put it all down on paper, earlier, like right around the time that I found like Chris Cooper and stuff like that. So that would have been probably about 7 years ago, 8 years ago when I originally started to write those out. And I'm always like evolving them, right? You always have to check back in and say like, hey, is this true? Do we still operate this way? Are we still adhering to our own expectations that we're setting? Because you got to always keep that in check. Sean, Souza, do you know, Souza, the way you want to follow Chris Cooper. I want to follow you. 11 flight from Dublin. Teach me your ways. 11 hours is quite the part, dude. I've had conversations with a couple people that have called in or like, super enthusiastic about coaching. They want to run their own gym, and I'm just like, fuck. I wish you guys lived closer because I would definitely, I could definitely use a lot of the coaching help and would love to set something up in a manner that allows you to like ascend in a CrossFit gym. That's another thing too. Like if you do own a gym, always keep communication with your coaches that are doing full time and taking information from them. Don't start blocking information or think you know everything, because I never understood this. And a lot of the coaches that will always call me with the conflict of like, hey, I'm at the gym. I really think that things should be done this way. I coach all the classes. The members or the owners are never there. The members also agree with some of the initiatives that I want to do. Like, how do I get the gym owner to agree with me on this? And now we're butting heads and there's this whole issue, which from a gym owner's perspective, I never really fully understood that, because if you're managing expectation right away, and then you're bringing them in as more of a partner rather than employee, there's a lot of great stuff that could come out of that, especially if you have somebody who's like a real go-getter and wants to do a bunch of cool stuff with the gym. Like, don't become like the opposition of that person. See if you could find a way to work with them to better your communities. All right, let's bring something else up. We're gonna change it here. I'm gonna go back to the data graphic for a minute. I can't actually play the song on it because it's just music the whole time. But this is U.S. rent prices versus income, and it starts at 1985. There's a red line that's the rent prices. There's a blue line that is the income. And right now the income is higher than the red line. And very quickly in 1987, they cross and rent prices just skyrocket, and income drops quite significantly, even like as it climbs. And going back to what Rambler said the first time about AI taking over jobs, you could see where it said right there, the tech boom. And you watched how like everything dropped and then started to come back up, because as more money gets put into technologies, and yeah, people end up losing their jobs. As we learn to put jobs behind those technologies, the human resources of it grow. But look at that. That's fucking crazy. That is crazy. So the blue line, if you're just listening to this, is damn near at the very bottom, and the rent price has completely soared, and we're at September of 2020 right now. Yeah, that's nuts, huh? Rambler, blame private equity. I don't know if you could just blame one entity like that, but I saw this graphic, and I just wanted to share this with you guys because I just thought that was that was just incredible. No real answer for that on my end. Just interesting fact that I wanted to share with you guys. Okay, we got another one. Maybe this will spark some call-ins. Have you guys been seeing on Instagram and like all over the TikToks that there's like this takeover? And maybe it's just my algorithm, of course, because like they just put more in front of what I watch, right? But more in front of me, the stuff that I watch. Yeah, there we go. Got that out. But what about this like demon thing? Have you guys been watching this, like these celebrities and like rappers and pop artists and like anybody who basically seems like they quote unquote popped out of nowhere and are famous for a thing, and are apparently put there by the devil and are doing certain things to worship the devil in public, um, to give signs that that's what they're a part of, and that's why they are a celebrity or famous person. And in this case, and in this example, and I'm sure you guys have seen this by now, but Andrew Tate called out Ice Spice. I don't even know who the fuck Ice Spice is until this, which is interesting. Did you guys know who Ice Spice was? Maybe it's just me. I don't really listen to music and shit, so fuck, I don't know. But Andrew Tate called out Ice Spice for allegedly promoting Satanism, if I could say it right, Satanism during her Super Bowl appearance by making what he perceives as devil symbols and wearing an upside down cross. Okay, so we're gonna play the clip and then Andrew, right there. So what they're referring to is her hands there, which make that with the nails, and especially like the low quality photo, it does look creepy as shit though, doesn't it? Yeah, Janelle, no clue who she is. Yeah, me either. Me either. Olivia, I thought she was a porn star. Oh, Justin Cody, because they've sold their souls. Yeah, that's what like the whole consensus is, right? They sold their souls for fame and gold. Marcus Nielsen, thank you for becoming a member. Please enjoy all the cool behind the scenes stuff. And then Marcus, you became a member again. Maybe you double paid. Thank you for that. I thought she was a Spice Girl. That's what I thought when they said Ice Spice. I was like, damn, she looks young for how old I thought they were. Okay, so she's making the devil hand symbols here. Cross and kind of stares at it and lifts it up. And apparently that is the upside.
Right, bro. On a very serious note, you have someone wearing an upside down cross making devil symbols at the biggest cultural event in American history.
Yeah.
Everything I said about how you can see demons if you pay attention. Did you look at her and think that's a demon? Maybe you didn't. But after listening to this, please pay attention. She is wearing an upside down cross. The Matrix has made her famous. Nobody knows why. It's certainly not.
Yeah, that's interesting, right? The Matrix made her famous. None of us knew who she is.
Because of fucking talent.
I think she's wearing Balenciaga too.
And she's wearing Balenciaga, which we know
Child molesters.
which are child molesters.
Balenciaga.
And she's making devil symbols. What kind of clue are you looking for if those aren't the clues you need? What do you want?
What do you guys think? What do you guys think? I don't know. Eric Wise, Illuminati. Hal Roberts, I thought she was a Spice Girl. My teenagers laughed at me, and I assumed she wasn't a Spice Girl. Yeah, recycled names. Jonathan Ortega, Andrew Tate is an idiot. Bold claim. Bold claim. The algorithm made her popular. Yep. Kenneth Lab, shit's real. Interesting. Like I said, I feel like I see more of it, but it's like the shit that gets put in front of us because of the algorithm. Like, who said that up here before? Whatever, one of the comments, I lost it. But the algorithm, yeah, exactly. Like that, if you watch those and then you watch it a bunch of times, the algorithm's going to say, oh, they like this content. Let's put more of this type of content in front of them. And there you go. Now you feel like you see it everywhere. So I get it. Judy Reed, glad you're here. Now we can start. This is exciting. Mike McCaskey, no, Tate is entertaining as hell. You think so? Okay. What was this one? Navigating hard questions. Oh, yeah. So going back to communication, this guy is a communication genius. Watch how he handles this tough question here. Watch this. This guy in the microphone, I don't know if we're going to catch this first part, but he says, how many genders are here?
How many genders are there?
I don't know. I just got here.
That guy's a genius. Like a perfect way to escape the question. How many genders are there? I don't know. I just got here. When in doubt, just don't even answer the question at all. Okay. While we're on the Illuminati devil thing, let's bring up a little Taylor Swift conspiracy theory, huh? Now, tell me what you guys think of this.
Know what Super Bowl this is? It's 58. You know what 5 plus 8 is?
13.
It's Taylor Swift's album called 13.
Yo! Dang!
You guys know the date of the Super Bowl?
It's the 11th.
Of
February.
11 plus 2.
Yeah.
Yo!
Who are they playing?
The 49ers.
It's 4 plus 9.
Dude, come on. 13.
Just saying. What seed are the 49ers?
The 1 seed.
What seed are the Chiefs?
The 2 seed.
No, the 3.
1 and 3.
13. This dude is so stupid.
Where's Taylor Swift coming from? She's coming from Tokyo to the Super Bowl.
What does that mean?
A flight from Tokyo to Las Vegas.
It's 13 hours.
It's 13 hours.
This is
And I'm not even kidding.
What the
You know how many games Taylor Swift has been to?
13?
12.
This is the 13?
The Super Bowl will be the 13.
Is this all true? Or
Yeah, no, this is all
This
for
has-
real. Guys,
What do you guys think about that one? I think it's here. Oh, Rambler, Swifty here, lover. Yeah, so he's all about the number 13. I think it's funny, the guy that just keeps going, yo, hey. That's the job I want on this show. That's what I do to Sevan all the time. Just hype him up. Frank, if Don Fall sells his soul to the devil, will that get us 30 million CrossFitters? That's probably the funniest thing I've heard you say. Kendall, how was the Health Summit? The Health Summit was awesome. The Health Summit was incredible. The speakers that were there were really great. I know that CrossFit captured a lot of them, and they'll trickle out that content over time. So you guys will definitely get to see or hear the speeches and see the speeches. But I love the health stuff with CrossFit. I think that that's going to be how we reach a larger audience over time, especially working with other people that are in our space that might not necessarily be CrossFitters yet, kind of like the Rhonda Patrick type with a large audience that's really into personal responsibility and taking care of diseases at their core through lifestyle changes. So, as we get more and more of those people with their audiences, I think we'll turn more and more people on to CrossFit. So I like it from that point of view as well, just reaching a larger audience. But I also like it from what exactly CrossFit is, like the methodology at its core and how that relates to health. Because to me, that's the most important part. I know we get caught up with the CrossFit games and the competition side of stuff quite a bit because it's fun, it's cool, and it's an expression of what we do like at the highest level. But it's not the most important thing that we do. And so I love the fact that they're kind of investing into these health summits. I hope to do more and more of them each year. I know Dave's talked about that trainer summit. That would be really cool. They already do the affiliate summits. I just got a email yesterday, actually, saying that there's going to be an affiliate summit here in Northern California, I think in like April or something like that. Which is really cool because anytime you bring all those people together into the same room, everybody starts talking, you start cross-pollinating ideas. And if anything else, it just leaves you feeling really energized about the work that you do and excited to go back and do it. And so that's what I think the most important part of the Health Summit is that it just fired everybody up. It gave a ton of information and it empowered people to go back to give that information back to their members of their gym and their friends and family around them. So it was great. It was great. One Life CrossFit. We don't believe in coincidences, but they have to exist. Miss Burns, what's up? Sousa flying solo this morning. Yes. Hanging in there with it. Jonathan Ortega. I had a friend that tried to explain the 13 to me. She said it was symbolism. I asked, what does it symbol? He couldn't tell me. It's like... That's like what everybody knows details, but nobody knows big picture, right? Frank, how much of the health summit was done by HQ? Seems to be like Karen organized it and Sevan promoted it. And I held both their hands through the whole process. So Karn was contracted by CrossFit to put on the event. That's what CrossFit does these days, is that you guys know they probably contracted somebody to make that silly little text message thing back and forth. That's what they do now. That's what they do. They've reduced their team down. I mean, there's no marketing team really anymore after they let go of Keith. I don't know who else is like in marketing department, so maybe they don't have it anymore. Also, too, you guys know that their media team has shrunk down to like 2 people, if that. So, and they outsource everything. And I think they're going to outsource marketing and other stuff like that. So hold on to your hats. It should look crazy. Susie Tell, she was there, helped out. Someone was great, along with a weekend of activities. How great was Friday at CrossFit Central in Austin? Amazing workout by Boss. 65 more CrossFitters. Yeah, a lot of fun. Really cool. Really cool. I hope you guys get a chance to go to the next one here. Cody, I think I met Zeb, but there were 200 owners there, so I shook a lot of hands and had many conversations over coffee. Yeah, cool. That's what it's about. Frank, Dave talked about the trainer summit. Lots of talk and promises from HQ to get affiliates to stay affiliated. Well, they got to do something. And here's the thing, to Dave's point, like I think we have to realize that how things process through HQ anymore. It's not like Dawn, and this is my thoughts. I don't know this to be true. This is just my thoughts here. But I think that Dawn and Dave don't have very much autonomy in terms of pulling the trigger on decisions a lot. I think now all decisions have to go through a certain like filter of stuff, to where, meaning I have an idea, so I'm going to tell Dawn. Dawn's going to say, hey, I like this idea. We need this and this back from it. Then I give this and this back to Dawn. And then Dawn takes it to the board and says, hey, we want to allocate resources to here, and here's why. And then the board has to go, okay, have you thought about this? And then it trickles back down to Dave, and they say, hey, have you thought about this? And then Dave puts something together and he runs it back up the line to the board. And then the board says, okay, cool, we could invest this much money into it. And then Dave goes, I wanted $10 and you guys gave me $5. And they're like, we'll make it work with $5. And then he has to make some adjustments. And so all that to say, I think that when Dave truly says, like, we're considering it, we're working on it, I still believe him. I think that he is. I think that there's a lot of great ideas. And I think that he knows that there's a lot of great ideas. And it's just going to be about how well they could execute on those ideas. And if they get autonomy and funding, again, my opinion, from the board to execute on them. Because I think that there's just a lot of red tape in place. Maybe before, when it was just Greg, we could be like, hey, Greg, we're going to run an affiliate summit. And then Greg just goes, sounds like a great idea. And the next thing you know, they're working on it. That is not the case. And that will never, ever be the case again with CrossFit too. So you guys have to realize that. And if you think that things are going to move that quickly, like they did back in the old days, or like it's just the matter of fact of having an internal conversation and then acting on it, I don't think that's the case anymore. I think that everything has to be ran through the board. And then it has to get approved, and there has to be like this process to it. Yes, somebody from X, awesome. Marat, just popping in to say hi. You guys are doing amazing work. Well, thank you. Thank you. It's always funny when somebody else it's always funny when somebody else comments from like either Facebook or like X or like something like that. We're like, ooh, somebody new here from a different platform. Here we go. We got to call it. Except for the part Matt almost got sex trafficked by a Hispanic man. I don't remember that part. Did that almost happen to me? Yo, caller, what's up, man? How you doing?
What's happening, boy?
Hey, good to hear your voice.
Yeah, man, it's good to be here. I've been on a drought lately as far as my Sevan content consumption.
Yeah,
so it feels good to catch a little bit of live with Susie. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, right on. Well, welcome to the show. This is Blade, for those of you guys that don't recognize the voice here. Oh, whoops, hit the wrong button. There we go.
Oh, man.
I hit the yellow button.
Accidentally on purpose. He did it accidentally on purpose.
Hey,
point taken. That's what I get. That's what I get for being absent so long. Yeah, that's what I get. I'll take my L.
So how you doing, man?
I'm great, man. So I've been listening for a little bit now, and I just took a couple notes, and then we can go from there. Then there was one person who asked me in the comments a question that I thought had validity, just to keep this going. But back when you were talking about coaches, so excuse me for bouncing around, but back when you're talking about coaches, back when I used to coach, there was this dude, I gave everybody nicknames. There was a dude I called Pops. He was an old dude, and I called him Pops. And one day I was coaching, being my hella energetic self, and he's like, you know, when I come in here and you're coaching, it's really a breath of fresh air. And that was probably the dope. That's the one compliment that stuck with me. I don't even remember any other compliment. Who knows? That might have been the only one I ever got as a coach. Doubt it. But I think, like, now obviously you need to know the game when it comes to coaching. You can't just be a breath of fresh air and that's the end all be all.
Right.
But if coaches thrive for that, to make like that hour and a half, whatever, to be the best part of somebody's day.
Yep.
That shit would be contagious, and it would grow like wildfire. You know what I'm saying? Not like, oh, well, you kicked ass at regionals. Well, I'm aging myself. Like, oh, you kicked ass at semifinals. Oh my God, I saw your PR. Whatever those are dope. Don't get me wrong.
Yep.
And it's nice to get your back patted every once in a while for stuff like that. But when somebody comes at you talking about you're really a breath of fresh air, that's the name of the game right there. And if you could get a few doing that, who also, you know, obviously love CrossFit and aren't snapping everybody up and remembering what got them there, then hold on, sorry, I saw the truck. I'm rucking right now.
Nice.
Get them on that hype. Then I think that's a good foundation. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. Like if you already said it, if you come in and you got great energy and what's up, how you doing? Like all of a sudden, all the stress and the shit that they walk through the door with kind of melts away for that hour, right? Like they don't got to think about it anymore. And you've laid the foundation for that just with the energy and the way that you address them right when they walk in the door.
Right. And it's reading the room. Like, hey, who's that black dude off The Office? The one who's salty as fuck. Y'all know you know who I'm talking about?
I know exactly. Yeah, but I'm terrible with the names.
You can at least see his face, right?
Yes, 100%. 100%. Yeah.
Exactly. So
always like monotone.
It's about reading the room too.
Yep.
Yeah, it's about reading the room, because those cats that walked in like that every day, and I didn't waver. Now I didn't fucking laugh them and smile them into submission. Right. But I did get microdose them with, I ain't going nowhere, motherfucker. I'm gonna be smiling at your ass, and you gonna smile one day. And every once in a while, I'll get them to crack a smile. And once you break that seal, you got them at least for a day. Yep. You know what I mean? So it's like a balance. You can't be motherfucking SpongeBob. You know what I'm saying? You can't be SpongeBob out here all the way. But everybody needs a little bit of that in them to make it better.
Completely. I 100% agree. Yep.
Let's see. The next note I had is, there's a saying I put it in the comments quite often. I tell people all the time. There's two. One is, I'd rather you be an asshole to my face than a snake in the grass. And a lot of people, man, we're falling into a big spell of this feel-good energy, but we're forgetting, like, a lot of these motherfuckers are snakes in the grass. Yeah, that make you feel good right now, and you feel all warm and fuzzy. But what's going on behind the scenes? What's their intentions? Yep. And we're getting so we want comfy. We want the acquaintance who will tell us, "Oh, do what's best for you." Oh yeah, mess. Oh, just one hit. Oh, you good? You gotta do what's best for you. Not the actual friend who's like, "The fuck wrong with you?" Yep. No, don't do that. That's a terrible idea. What you mean? Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And so now, no matter where you are, like in every aspect, everywhere you look, we're kind of folding to snakes in the grass, because we don't want the discomfort of somebody being an asshole to our face. Oh, yeah. When I'm working, I'll be talking with somebody, and there'll be a moment where I take a deep breath. I go, okay, is it okay if I speak to you as your homie? Like, can I speak to you as Blade and not Officer such and such? Mm-hmm. And they're like, okay. And then I'll hit them. I'll be like, bruh, what are you doing? What's wrong? Like, and I go, at any moment, tell me like to pull back, or if I feel this getting too tense, then we can pull it back. But like, you need to use your head, and then I'll talk to them like I'm their homie, like how I would want advice spoken to me. And it's oddly refreshing. Like when I get in a little pissing match with somebody, but they're being real with me and I'm being real with them. Yeah, of course our blood boils a little bit, and we may go cry in the car for a few minutes. but after you settle down, it's like, that's actually oddly refreshing that somebody will like step to you every once in a while, because it's real. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly. And you don't have to guess their intentions or second guess yourself of how the interaction went. You know how it went because both people being honest right there, right?
Exactly.
Yep.
And then the other saying I have is, if it stinks like shit everywhere you go, you might want to check your own drawers.
You might be the common denominator.
Exactly, because people keep wanting to run from certain situations, and they'll be like, "Oh man, I came here and it was this," and then it's cool for like a month or two. But then no matter where you go, you are you. Unless you change, no matter where you go, you are you. And so then you go somewhere else, and then it stinks like shit again. And so we could keep trying to do, or we as in CrossFit. I'm not them, but you know what I mean. They keep trying to do the same shit and running from harsh truths or whatever it may be. But if we keep doing all this, then we're going to be in the same exact spot, because at some point we got to make decisions and make tough decisions. And the thing about tough decisions is don't nobody want to make them.
Right.
And so that's kind of the crossroads we're at right now. When you were talking about the chain, and okay, we're working on that. And I understand this has gotten to a point where it's big as fuck. You know what I mean? Like it's a lot bigger than just a mom and pop now. We done accidentally grown into a motherfucking Denny's. Right. So it is what it is. But there's a saying, the worst decision is no decision. And so if something isn't going well, and y'all just stay piddle paddling for 6 months, for 8 months, for a year and a half, for 3 years, before you know it, it's been 5 years, and y'all are in the same spot, or if not worse, because nothing's changed and people are continuing to get pissed, and just floating in space. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, totally. Yeah.
And so we need that asshole to our face again. And it was, obviously it was Glassman. I love that motherfucker.
Yeah. Yep.
But and then to a degree, it was Castro for a little bit, and he ain't completely softened up. But I'd be lying if I said it didn't feel a little bit different. Yeah. You know what I mean? He used to have 2 middle fingers in the air. Now he got one.
And it's kind of low. It's kind of low too.
Yeah. You know when you were like 3rd grade, you just want to flip somebody out real quick.
Sneak it in there.
You get him. Exactly. That's kind of how his middle finger is now. And so
agreed.
I'm just kind of so I think when we get somebody like that who is just like, this is what we are. If we're going to be fine. We're going to be here. If y'all want to take your super billions somewhere else, so be it. But we're going to be here. Yep. And they'll be back. Quite frankly, they will be back. It's like hanging up in somebody's face. You're like, oh shit, I just hung up on them. And then you're waiting for that call back, and then here it comes. You're like, yeah, I knew there was a call back. You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
So that's that kind of energy I'm talking about, that attracted me in the first place, and I hope to see.
Agreed.
And then, if you don't mind, there was a Sunday. I think no, it was Daniel earlier who asked you that great question about business and separating business from friendship.
Yes. Yep.
They asked me a question in the comments for when I called in. They said something along the lines of, do I let my fear of getting injured at CrossFit affect my attitude, my training, or something like that, because I don't want to get hurt for the job? And it's, quite frankly, it's a good question. Yep. Valid question, but it's not even close. Right. Because quite frankly, I'd rather get hurt at CrossFit becoming harder to kill. Yep. Than get killed on the job because I didn't go to CrossFit.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah, that's right.
You know,
Triage, right? What's more important, that you can run and climb and get up over that wall as quick as you possibly can, or staying away from trying so you don't put yourself to potential risk of shoulder injury, right?
right. Or like, for example, there was this, my entire team for like a 6-month window started working out with me before shift. And one of the shifts, I was first on scene to an attempted kidnapping.
Mm.
And the motherfucker took off.
Mm-hmm.
And I always have the saying, like, for those of y'all who only run, yeah, you're gonna catch the dude, but when you get there, you're gonna be too weak to do anything.
Yep. Yeah.
Or for those that only lift, I'm like, yeah, you catch him, but then you get there, you're too tired to actually do anything. You know?
That's right.
And so
Yeah.
and so he takes off, and I start dipping, and this dude, he's a skinny black dude who's clearly high as fuck, and so I don't catch him right away, and I think, man, this motherfucker's probably high on something. He could probably hold this pace for like.
You can run this for a marathon if he needs to now.
Exactly. And so I pull back a little bit, but then I see a chink in his armor. He slows down just slightly. So I turn the jets on and I catch him. And who's right behind me? My entire fucking team.
Yep.
Because they all been there with me the previous 6 months, doing box jumps, rowing, freaking cleans, all that, sprinting, all that. And so it was dope as hell. Because I told him at the end of the call, I was like, hey, this dude chose the wrong shift. He chose the wrong shift to try to snatch up somebody's kid.
Pick the wrong group.
You know what I mean? Exactly. And so there's moments like that are exactly what I'm not tripping on injury. Because I have like came up lame. You know, Chuck Norris sniped me in my hamstring a couple times during some sprints.
Yep. Happens to the best of us.
And quite frankly, you know, just like for the next week at work, you just gotta take it easy. As long as like you don't sprint, because even then I'll just get in my car. Like you just try to stay away from certain moments where if you absolutely needed to, you make shit happen.
Right.
But you just try to be cool for a minute. And if it's terrible, then you take a sick day because they give you those hours for sick or injured.
Yep.
And so it's just like that. It's checks and balances. And I'd much rather be a savage than worry about getting hurt.
100%. 100%. And the ironic part of it is it'll prepare you to make sure that you come home safe every day, right? People
sure will.
People worried about like having a potential strain in their shoulder or hip are missing the larger picture of, man, you need to be able to be harder to kill, right?
Exactly. And then I also have neighborhood alpha dad things I gotta, quotas I gotta meet.
Oh hell yeah! You got a house full of girls, man. You gotta let them know what time it is out there.
Hey, exactly. Right around 1:30 when everybody's going by to pick up kids from school, I'll be outside with the sled. You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
Let these motherfuckers know.
Alpha dad, don't you forget it.
Yeah, this house ain't the one, y'all. Keep that shit up to it.
Oh, that's awesome.
But that being said, that's about it for my notes. And I look forward to hearing the rest of the show, man.
Hey, thanks, bro. Thank you so much for calling in and all the great stuff there. Appreciate it.
All right, man. All love.
All right, bye. Blade Walker, everybody. That's a great call. He's always got such good energy. You imagine going to a CrossFit gym with him and he's the coach. Like you walk in and try to have a bad day. It ain't gonna happen. He won't let it. There was a comment up here earlier is when you are coaching dropping into class. Cody, turn it around. When you as a coach are taking a class or dropping in somewhere, what makes a great experience for you? Chances are, yes, exactly, man. And I can't tell you how much we use as an example. Like go to another gym, like you're walking in, you're already feeling like a little bit of afraid, anxious, like nervous about the whole situation. And if you're not greeted right away or somebody's not like, enthusiastic to see you, it even makes that tougher. Caller, hi, welcome to the show.
Hey, Matt, how you doing? It's Frank.
Hey, Frank, what's going on, man?
Not much. I wanted to follow up on what you were saying about Don and Dave. I agree with you. I think they have to fight for affiliates. And I guess that's, as the organizer of the CF Affiliate Collective, that's my kind of primary issue with private equity owning, is that they are having to constantly fight to do more for affiliates. And isn't the solution ultimately that, if affiliates own the company, couldn't we get back to where the good old days, as I think you referred to them?
Yep. I Here's two things about that. Number one, I feel that the good old days are always better in hindsight, right? So there was probably still a lot of improvement that could have been made back then. There's a lot of decisions that happened that if there was this landscape of media at that time would have berated some of those decisions just as we do everything else right now. So number one, there's always kind of this glorifying of the past. And number two, I don't think that that will ever happen again unless there's a single owner of CrossFit and they have like a vision that matches similar to where Greg was kind of steering the ship, and they get really core to the methodology of what CrossFit is, which will be tough to do.
Yeah, I think it will definitely be different than when Greg was in charge, but I think largely affiliates would, direct on to, hey, do what's right for affiliates, and that's your guiding star. And if you make decisions that do that and give Don and Dave and Nicole the autonomy, I think they have demonstrated that they want to do the right thing long-term for affiliates. The question is, how much is the board letting them? And even if it was a matter of, just giving them free reign or having oversight, affiliates ultimately, I think, want to do what's best for affiliates. And my biggest concern with private equity is they seem to be concerned with short-term profits, preparing to sell the company in 3 to 5 years.
Yeah, well, here's the deal. They're concerned with whatever the initiatives that the board wants, right? So like their job is to appease their bosses, and their bosses is the board and the managing partners of Berkshire. And Berkshire wants one thing. They want a return on their investment. They didn't buy CrossFit because they think it was going to change the world's health and that they were going to just steer that ship into that direction until all of eternity. Like they basically bought it and saw that they could make some changes that would make it more profitable and would give it some stronger, more consistent revenue lines, and that they could use that to say, hey, in 5 years, this will be worth this X much more, and makes it appealing to another private equity company, right?
Absolutely. So maybe you get back to the topic for the episode, I think was 30 million CrossFitters. How do we get there? I think that's a long-term strategy for Don. And I don't know as private equity has any interest in that goal. I'm kind of surprised they let him even put it out there. I think it's a good long-term strategy, and maybe private equity thinks, that'll increase the value of the brand short-term. But, the question is how much money are they realistically being willing to spend on it? So when you talk about the health conference, or a trainer summit, is that something they're spending money on, or is it something, like you said, they're outsourcing everything and, cutting costs, and does it make any sense for us to be outsourcing our marketing? I think the problem over the last 3.5 years has been that we have, people, the board, making decisions about marketing that aren't CrossFitters, don't own gyms. How are we going to get to 30 million, I guess?
Yeah, that's a great question, right? And if I had the chance to kind of probe on that more, the first question I would just come up with is why 30? Right? Because then you could start to reverse engineer, like what gave you, like, why not 10? Why not 300? Why not, why 30? Right. And then the next question, of course, would be like that's how we're going to get there with it. But here's the deal. I think we've already heard Don say on the other podcast, Kettlebells and Cocktails, that he was taking a meaningful amount of money out of the games. And if you listen to some of the stuff that I've said about the games, I've always said that the training, the revenue from training and the revenues from affiliates subsidizes the CrossFit Games, because the CrossFit Games as a standalone would not be profitable. So meaning if no money could be put into the games and it had to be self-sufficient, meaning the Open funded it, sponsors funded it, quarterfinals funded it, would it still exist? Could it still stand up on its own? And I think the answer to that is no. And we've seen this in multiple different examples with like, when they tried to license out semifinals and this type of stuff, and like, with Wadapalooza or these pop-up of these Zelos games. And we know that it's really hard for them to turn a profit. And so if you were just to reroute the money that the CrossFit Games was pulling out of training and pulling out of affiliates into saying, hey, this marketing tool isn't working as well as we needed to, let's reinvest these dollars into CrossFit for Health summits, affiliate gathering, trainer summits, you could see that would become more of an investment, because if they're able to do more of these things, bring more of those people together, affiliate owners and trainers, and improve the quality of service just through connection. And then also reach a larger audience by pulling in some of these high profile speakers and stuff like that. That's going to be more of an investment to grow affiliates, to grow coaches, to grow CrossFitters.
Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, I think the games has always been something that intimidates people. I think there's some, I think it unites the existing community, and I think the games largely should stand on its own or be used as a platform to promote the approachability of CrossFit and the message and methodology of CrossFit instead of showing the empty competition floor, in between heats. I think we could be telling the stories of transformation. Totally. I think there's a case to be made there for continuing to support the games if it supports affiliates. But I'm with you. I mean, I just, and I think it's interesting that it's 30 million CrossFitters. It's not gym, every affiliate being, a lifeboat. I have a concern that CrossFit headquarters is seeing dollar signs and that may not be a path through affiliates. It may be, starting to offer online training, and they even kind of push that out at one point and suggested, oh, this is just a stepping stone to get people into affiliates. And if it works out that way, great. But I think part of the magic is the community you get in affiliates and the coaching you get in affiliates. So I guess I'm a little biased as a gym owner / former affiliate owner, but I don't know, a couple thoughts there.
Yeah, interesting.
Cut me off whenever.
Hey, well, I got one question with you. So this affiliate collective thing, how would that work?
That's, I guess, a big question, but largely affiliates make up the vast majority of HQ's revenue. If we are organized and collectively come to private equity and say, hey, we, say there's 10,000 out of the 12,000 affiliates, we come to private equity and say, hey, we want to buy the company. Private equity could certainly say no, and we'll say, great, we're going to go start our own brand, and they will, I think, chase us out the door. But if they don't, we can easily start a new brand. I think everybody loves CrossFit and what it stands for methodology-wise and community-wise, but largely the community comes with the affiliates. And the methodology, while Greg owns it, arguably with his IP, CrossFit Inc. doesn't own the methodology, and nobody owns burpees and thrusters and assault bike. So, well, somebody owns assault bike, the brand, but fan bikes. I think largely private equity has taken their initial investment out of the company. I think, again, I'm theorizing, I guess, but these are things that come up in the negotiation. I think if they put in 200 million, they settle the NSA lawsuit for 100 million and take that money out. And then someone in private equity told me that typically private equity will take out a large loan on the books of the company to pay themselves back that initial investment. And it doesn't surprise me that they break even if they have a large loan payment on a $100 million loan for the remainder of their initial investment. Right. So they've already broken even, as best I can tell, or what seems to me to be private equity's formula. And it makes sense, right? They've taken their money out. Now the only thing they can do is break even. Worst case scenario, the company goes bankrupt and they break even. They sell the company for even 20 million and they've made a 10% profit, or 40 million and they've made their 20% profit. Obviously, that's kind of what they want, right? And so again, we have all the negotiating leverage if there's multiple affiliates, or I should say the vast majority of affiliates are organized and we come together collectively and say, sell us the company. And if they don't want to, we collectively threaten to leave. And if they still don't want to sell us the company, we leave and start a new brand. And CrossFit is just a word. And really the only thing HQ owns is the word CrossFit and the phrase forging elite fitness. And we can easily replace that word with another word, yeah, I think that's largely how it works. Now, in terms of what happens once we buy it, well, I think the company is run by a board of directors, the board of directors being made up of affiliate owners, and they would be elected by affiliate owners who are part of the collective that go in and buy this company. I think if you didn't want to buy in for whatever reason, you can continue to stay an affiliate. And really, some of these decisions are up to a board to decide, not for me to decide, but this is my initial thoughts. The board of directors would, replace the PE private equity board of directors, and go to Don and say, hey, here's the things we think we need to do as HQ, and largely would be doing for affiliates what they can't do for themselves and promote the brand positively. counter the negative perceptions of the brand and the broader public. And the board would hold Don and the team accountable for metrics around how are you doing on those things. Versus right now, like you had mentioned earlier, private equity is, the board meetings largely consist of, how are we doing on cutting costs? How are we doing on increasing revenue? And largely the only lever they seem able to pull on increasing revenue is increasing our fees. And I suspect they will do that again. But in terms of how, I see affiliates running the company, I think, largely affiliates want the same things. We want HQ to do what we can't do for ourselves. So they would do things like legislate and litigate. We hire back the lawyers, we hire back the lobbyists. If affiliate owners are running the board, then I think that we don't need affiliate reps, or not at least as many as we have. I think we need better international representation for the international affiliates. I think that's a real opportunity and something we should be doing better. And I think largely, marketing the brand in a way that is just effective in terms of promoting the brand positively.
All right. Well, fair enough.
There's more on the Instagram, but I can go for hours.
All right. Well, fair enough. Well, thanks for giving those points, Frank. I think a lot of people find some of the stuff that you say interesting here. So we appreciate your opinions.
Yeah. If anybody's interested in learning more, go to CF Affiliate Collective on Instagram.
All right, brother.
Appreciate
Thanks for the call. Bye.
Thanks. Bye.
Replace a board with a board. Okay. I know somebody. It's like, we've been hijacked. Hello, this is your captain speaking, and we've been hijacked. Okay, so what are we talking about here? Hold on. Caller, hello, welcome to the show. Yellow.
Matt,
Yes, hello.
what's up, brother? How you doing?
I'm great. How are you doing?
I'm fantastic.
I know who this is because I have your number, so it popped up. Do we want to share with the audience?
This is everybody's favorite friend right now, Keith Knapp.
There we go.
Fairfield.
What's up, Keith? How you doing, bro?
I'm doing good, man. I'm actually driving to the gym right now. Just got some new speakers. We're going to go get those set up.
Awesome.
And I'm also in the middle of chauffeuring kids around to sports games. Got 7 games today.
7 games? Holy shit. You're going to be a busy man.
Yeah, dude. When you have 4 kids, 3 of them playing sports, 2 of them in tournaments in the weekend, it gets a little crazy. So, yeah, today's a day.
That's awesome. So you're getting some speakers up in the gym. How is that coming along? I've been seeing some of the stuff on Instagram. It looks like it's awesome.
It's good, man. The gym is basically ready to roll. We've got all the equipment's in and rig is fully set up. We've had some crews coming in this week to do like test runs of workouts. We've had all of our kids' classes in there for the past 2 weeks. We had lobby got fully set up over the weekend, or over the week this week. All we have left to do right now is a couple of like odds and ends and making sure everything stays clean before we have a big grand opening party on Saturday.
Dude, that's awesome. I got your Instagram pulled up right here with a couple of shots that you took of the gym, and it looks great, dude. You look like it's ready. That's good.
We're getting there, man. It's been a labor of love for sure, but we're excited about where we stand.
Dude, watching you like paint these like the lines and stuff on the post on the wall is giving me like PTSD with how much painting I've done in my past. I'm like, oh, if I see another freaking have to mask off some more tape lines and shit in the gym, I'm gonna go crazy.
Oh, dude, it's nuts. But like, yeah, little stuff like that, and like, this is an affiliate owner. Like the grind is real, and it like in some ways this whole situation has been a blessing because I was able to put more time into this than I probably would have been able to otherwise. So
yeah. So you're all in on this
good.
now, right? Like this is like the ships have been burnt behind you. You're on the island and you're gonna make it work.
Yeah, I mean, in some ways, yes. I mean, there's still the reality was this gym and the size of it and where it's located, it was never intended to be a primary income source.
Yeah.
And like I don't know if we have the square footage in this space for it to be a primary income source. So there is absolutely work that I'm doing, networking that I'm doing inside the ecosystem to try to find another primary income source. But that being said, like for the immediate time being, this is like what I'm spending all my time on. So like up at 5 o'clock in the morning, not going to bed until way later than I should.
Yep.
Like getting the website ready, getting flyers made, doing outreach with people in the community. We've had conversation with like Chamber of Commerce last week.
Oh, dude.
They're going to come out and do a ribbon cutting, getting merchandise all set up. We're getting our, some of our merch for the lobby area. We're getting a Fit Aid cooler and all that kind of stuff set up. Like we're full steam ahead.
Dude, that's awesome. And do you have any coaches coming on with you right now? Or are you going to be doing all the classes yourself?
No, man, we got 5 coaches.
5 you lucky SOB. How the hell did you get 5 coaches, dude? I'd kill for 5 coaches.
Yeah, I mean, they're not full time. Like I think most of my coaches are going to take like 1 class a night.
Yeah.
Or 1 class a week. Like they'll take the evening classes. I do have 1 coach that's going to take all of my 9:30 a.m. classes.
Nice.
She's a stay-at-home mom who has been coaching boot camp stuff for a long time, and she's like, this is the class that I would want, so I want to make sure we offer it. So she's taking all those classes. I'm going to coach all the 5:30 a.m. classes.
Yeah, buddy.
And then I've got a couple of other coaches that are going to fill in and do some kids stuff, like right at like after school hours. So yeah, we're rolling.
Dude, that's awesome. And I was looking through here too. You know what I would love to I'd love to see you do is just talk through, like how you just said, like the Chamber of Commerce, the ribbon cutting. I would love some content on you just talking through how you're positioning the gym and like marketing it and building it up, because I think that a lot of other affiliate owners could gain from that. And obviously that's your skill set, that's your knowledge right there. And so to see it applied directly at the level with you doing it with opening a new CrossFit gym, I think there's a lot of value in that. So I'd love to kind of hear your thoughts on what you did, what worked for you, what didn't, what you would put more of your time into, what you wouldn't. Because selfishly, 100%. I'll just copy a lot of it too. So it's not only for people at large.
Well, I mean, I think that's the cool thing about this community, right? Is like a lot of these ideas aren't new. It's just having really great mentors in the space. And man, I've been so blessed to like meet great affiliate owners all across the country and all across the world who are like reaching out with, hey, have you thought about this? Have you thought about this? And a couple that are like right around the corner too, that have been really cool about, like I had CrossFit Blue Ash, Blake Evans. He's like a long time, 10+ year affiliate owner. He actually had a very similar situation when he first opened his gym. He was gainfully employed and lost his job like right before he was getting ready to open, and was like, all right, well, this is the thing. So he's been an awesome mentor to me. He had a lot of great thoughts about how to set the rig, had a lot of great thoughts about how to set up memberships. Like Dale King is another one who's been like, anytime I have a question about how to use like the CRM that I'm using or how to set up membership plans, or like one thing that he has in common with my area is there's a lot of families that he wants to get in. So he's like, make sure you have a family add-on plan. Like just little things like that, if you're jumping into this brand new and you don't have those relationships, it's going to be a lot harder. But the biggest piece of advice I would give anybody that's getting ready to do this first is just start talking to other owners, because there's like such richness in those relationships. I mean, I've had conversations with you too about how you engage with fire departments, and one of the workouts we did earlier this week, we had a couple of folks from the firehouse come over and do a workout, and it was just like them seeing the space and being the space, like, oh man, we got to get more people over here.
Yep.
Right. So
that's it.
Yeah. So it's been good, man. It's been good.
Well, that's awesome, dude. Once you get opened up and stuff, I mean, we definitely have to have you on in the full capacity and listen to the whole story and watch your gym just continue to rise and build and build and build. I'm excited for you. I think it's going to be awesome.
Appreciate you guys, man. We just wanted to call and say hi as I was in between games, and appreciate everything you guys do. Appreciate the conversation. Love this little tribe that we all get to be a part of. And
Yep.
wish you guys the best.
Dude, thank you. Thanks so much for calling in, bro. And hey, as always, I know I reached out, but please let me know anything that I could do or we could do to help.
Awesome. Love you guys.
All right, brother.
Peace.
Take it easy. Bye. Keith Knapp, ladies and gentlemen. That's cool. Called in. Man, what are the odds, too? It's like, what do they say? Like when one door closes, another one opens up. I mean, at least he had such a positive outlet, like being able to work on his gym. I think like sometimes when people get like removed from jobs, especially one that like Keith was like, he gets it. Like he was like a big methodology guy, understood the community, like engaged with us and with Hill, like he was in the mix. You know what I mean? So when you talk about wanting to market CrossFit, and I think of somebody like Keith, who is really engrossed in all levels of the ecosystem, like he gets it from the, like what he has to do at his job and dealing with the board and that red tape there. And then he also understands and knows how to handle the media portion of the community, like us and Hiller and the other podcasts. And then at the same time, he could coach a CrossFit class, right? I mean, what better person to be in that position in terms of marketing, who just understands it and lives and breathes it. So kind of a bummer he's not in that position. I always felt like he was one of the good guys on the inside. But he's got his gym. It's going to be awesome. No doubt it's going to be a success. I got the pleasure to work with Keith for like quite a few weeks, where we met pretty much weekly with the CrossFit for Health Summit stuff. And so I got to see him in many different capacities. And I could say that there's no doubt he'll be successful in whatever next venture he finds himself in, especially with the gym. Eric Wise. Now there's a productive phone call. Hold on. Somebody else said something that I was going to bring up, but maybe not. Well, gang, thanks for hanging out. We made it an hour and a half. Dang. So it was kind of interesting. Like last night, we were running around. It was Grace's birthday. And so we had to coach full classes, like leading all the way up. Then we went and grabbed some dinner and, hung out and did some stuff like that. And so preparing, and then I found out later in the night that I was doing the show solo today. So I was trying to get a bunch of stuff like together and prepare it. And as I'm like concluding the show, I feel like it was a little bit all over the place. So I apologize for that if it felt a little all over the place, but that's how we kind of roll. It's just chaos. On Tuesdays at 11 a.m., I am going to be stepping out on my own and doing a show once a week. So it'll be on Tuesdays at 11 a.m. The idea here is that we'll have some conversations about affiliate stuff. I've been kind of writing down some of the things that I've been dealing with an affiliate, just as like a normal like business owner or coach, or different things that I think would make some cool discussions and hopefully add some value, to hopefully like contributes to you guys in some way. Whether if it comes from me or like these conversations that we have as we process stuff together. And then the other thing I'm going to be doing, which I thought would be cool, is we're going to go over to the Broken Science website, and we're going to be looking at some of the articles that they've been putting out. If you guys haven't already, go to the Broken Science website. They have videos and articles and stuff that is just filled with fascinating information and things that are going on. They've been kind of watching this Diane Faber Cancer Institute is committing science misconduct. This was the stuff over at Harvard. And these articles here written by Russell Berger, and you guys know him. He was just recently on the show, are incredible. And it's crazy when you start to like crack that nut open, like as far as like how the person that's supposed to review the literature and the studies that are coming out of Harvard is like best buddies with all the people that are writing it. And then their funding is intermingled with that. And they're just basically approving shit up into all the way and including straight photoshopped images and AI generated images that were passed off and approved in a quote unquote peer review paper that were never corrected. Holy shit. Are you guys kidding me? So anyways, the idea is that I'll kind of read these articles. We'll break them down. We'll dissect them together. We'll probably bring a couple people on that wrote them onto the show just to talk about them. These people are much smarter than I am, so they could give you guys more of an insight on the articles and the importance of them and what that means. Now, the interesting thing and why you guys should care is because once these papers and these different things are put into play, usually they get in the hands of the politicians and then they're put into policies, and then policies govern our lives. And we saw a massive example of this during COVID time, right? Like nobody even what's his face, the freaking Fauci, even he came out and said, yeah, we didn't really know where the 6-foot rule came from. We just kind of ran with it, right? So that's the type of bullshit that we need to be able to have discernment against. And if we're know what to look for and how to dissect those papers and the information that's given to us, it's going to allow us to make better decisions to govern our lives. So anyways, that's what kind of the show will be about there. And we'll finish off with Miranda Alcaraz. She was also at the CrossFit for Health Summit, and she spoke on a panel called Simple Not Easy. And this is just a snippet from that here.
Hardest thing is not to do it for a short time, it's to do it forever. That's how we are wired as humans, is to look for the easy path. But we are also wired as humans to be happiest and to be most effective through struggle and challenging ourselves.
I couldn't agree more. And it's funny because like she said, like it isn't hard to do it for a short period of time. It's hard to do it for forever. And I think a lot of the stuff that we know and do as CrossFitters, which is working out, eating right, taking personal responsibility, is easy to do for a short period of time, a day, 2 days, 3 days. But to do it for forever and to do it well for forever, that's where the simple but not easy portion comes in. It's easy to save money for a day. It's hard to do it for 5 years. So anyhow, we'll be going through some of that stuff as well, some of the CrossFit stuff and everything else. And this I thought was just genius, and I wanted to remind you guys about this because as you go through the internet and you clicked agree and accept on everything, you may want to second guess it. And clearly this guy drinking a knockoff version of Mountain Dew, shirtless with a zip-up sweatshirt on, is my kind of guy that I take advice from. When I see a gentleman of this scholar here, I'm thinking to myself, this guy knows what he's talking about.
I got homies go up in the urgent care, signed a couple forms. They brought him a car from Carvana, dog. He didn't even know he bought a car at the urgent care because that's how many forms be in that pile, dog. You don't even know what form in the pile, but you probably gonna sign it because you want to see that doctor. But they gonna be like, got you on that APR financing. That's what they do on them forms. That's why I ever, dog, I ain't ever signing no form unless it's in my blood.
Yep. There it is. So I will leave you guys with that. Thanks so much for listening. We'll be back tomorrow, I think. Maybe it'll just be Caleb and I again. And then we got some cool guests coming up. We got Kevin Ogar. Of course, we got Greg Glassman. We got Rafa finally down. We got John on Friday, the dude that eats only raw meat. You guys seen his account? And then we have a Paul Litchford as well. We got some cool people coming up this week. And then we're getting closer and closer to the Open. And the Open announcements are about to be freaking crazy. Actually, is literally about to be nuts. We're going to be having a great time with that. He believes in flat earth. Dude, maybe we'll just have me and the flat earth guy on. Oh my gosh, wouldn't that be something funny? You guys would have any. Okay, all right, guys, thank you so much for hanging out. Thanks for everybody who called in. Thanks for listening. Thanks for being awesome. You guys have a great rest of your day. Bye-bye.